I was a single mother living with my 6-year-old son in an older, low-rise apartment building on the edge of town. The kind of place people ended up in, not dreamed about. It wasn't a luxury place, just a quiet, 6-story building with thin walls and creaky floors. The rent was affordable, the neighborhood was safe enough, and it was close to my job. At that point in my life, that was all I needed. For the first few weeks, everything felt normal. We unpacked, learned which cabinets stuck, and adjusted to the building's noises. The first night I heard it, I didn't even get out of bed. It was after midnight when a loud scraping sound came from the apartment directly above ours. It sounded like heavy furniture being dragged across the floor. Not footsteps, not a door. Something big. I assumed someone upstairs was rearranging their apartment and tried to ignore it. People move in late sometimes. Life happens on different schedules. The sound continued for nearly an hour, dragging, stopping, dragging again. Eventually, it stopped on its own. The next morning, I told myself it was just one of those things that happen in older buildings. The next night was quiet. So was the night after that. I started to relax, thinking maybe whoever lived upstairs had finished moving in. Then, a few nights later, it happened again. This time, the noise was louder and more deliberate. The scraping moved from one side of the ceiling to the other, like whatever was being dragged wasn't staying in one place. I checked on my son twice that night. He slept through everything. The following afternoon, I went upstairs and knocked on the door of the apartment above mine. No answer. I knocked again. Still nothing. The hallway was silent. Later that day, I spoke to the property manager. He checked his computer and told me no one was currently living in that unit. It hadn't been rented for over a month. That explanation didn't sit right with me, but I didn't argue. Old buildings make noise. Pipes shift. Floors expand. That's what I told myself. That night, the dragging returned. It didn't last as long, but it felt closer, directly above my bedroom. I lay awake, counting the seconds between each sound, trying to find a pattern. There wasn't one. A few nights passed without incident. Then I heard something new. While folding laundry in my bedroom one evening, I heard knocking. It wasn't coming from the door. It was coming from inside my closet. Slow, firm, intentional. 3 knocks, then silence. I opened the closet. My heart was pounding. Nothing was there. After that, I kept the closet door closed at all times. Another quiet night passed. I barely slept anyway. Then, around 3:30 in the morning, my bedroom light turned on by itself. I sat up immediately. My son was still asleep in his room. I checked him before anything else. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. I watched the ceiling until morning. By then, I wanted to leave. But it wasn't simple. Nothing ever is. I was locked into a lease. Money was tight. Moving with a child takes time, and planning, and courage. So I stayed, telling myself I just needed a little longer, just until I figured something out. The final moment happened in the middle of the afternoon. My son was playing quietly in his room while I worked at the dining table. The apartment was calm. I watched his bedroom door slam shut on its own. Hard. I ran to him. My chair tipped over behind me. He opened the door himself, crying, saying someone had closed it. That was it. I didn't call the police. I didn't investigate. I trusted my instincts. I packed what I could and stayed with a friend until I found another place. We left that night. Breaking the lease cost me money. I didn't care. Before I moved out, I asked the property manager one last question. I needed closure. I asked why he wouldn't come upstairs with me to check the apartment. I watched his expression change. He hesitated, then said, "Some units are better left alone until they're ready." I don't know what that meant. I don't know what was happening above us, but I know one thing. Whatever was upstairs didn't leave just because the apartment was empty.